In the pantheon of power, where do you rank this guy here at the end, the Black Ranger? Because I was randomly thinking about this, and I know where I rank him, but I want to know, where do people rank Zack Taylor, the Black Ranger? I think it should be said first and foremost, Tommy Oliver is the greatest Power Ranger of all time. Tommy Oliver as the Green Ranger, or the evil Green Ranger, is the greatest Power Ranger of all time. I think that is where most people's ranking stands when it comes to the number one Power Ranger, is Tommy Oliver. How do you deny the greatness of the Green Ranger? He was the guy who went into their Megazord and kicked them out of their Megazord. He beat them in their own Megazord. That's how great the Green Ranger was. I honestly think most people would have Jason up in that two spot, possibly, as the greatest Power Ranger. But I think Tommy number one, Jason number two, and then after that, the list could get a little murky, a little muddled, just kind of depending. I honestly think a lot of people would put Billy over Zack. And Billy the Blue Ranger was one of the weaker Rangers. I think him and Zack were kind of gunning for that lower spot. People may disagree, people may not, but I think Billy would get a higher ranking than Zack. I'm highly positive that Adam would get a higher ranking than Zack. Adam would actually probably get a higher ranking than Zack and Billy. He'd probably be up there. I don't know if he'd be top five. He'd be up there as far as rankings in the pantheon of Power Rangers. Why is that looked at that way? I know I have my own personal opinions, and I'm going to share some of them with you. I think part of it is the tokenization of a black character. And Zack, whether they wanted him to be or not, turned out to be a token. I also think that this dance off that became like an internet sensation to a degree led to Zack being looked at as one of the weaker Power Rangers. The funny thing is, it didn't even happen on Power Rangers. This was a completely different show or a completely different thing. But you can't let somebody slide under your legs, bro, during a dance off. That's disrespect to the utmost degree. But I do believe that that dance off that happened in a completely different show did hurt Zack's legacy as a Power Ranger ultimately. A lot of people were looking at Zack funny in the light for this. And it's funny, but they were. For me, and I think for a lot of other people, another thing that contributes to Zack being on the lower ranking when it comes to the Power Ranger pantheon is his fighting style, his martial arts. Hip hop, keto, dance, food, whatever it was called. I think the idea of it, the idea that this is a black character doing it, it knocks some points off. Is that unfair? Because it's basically capoeira. It's like the character Eddie from Tekken. He has that style, and that character was looked at as really cool. So why does this style hinder Zack? Why does this style make people look at Zack funny? A lot of it is the way that it was done. It looked cartoonish, it looked buffoonish at times, but that was his dance style. So should that really hurt Zack's legacy as a Power Ranger? Another thing with dance, food, hip hop, keto, whatever you want to call it, is I don't remember Zack doing it when he was morphed. I think it would have been a lot cooler if he did it when he was morphed versus him only doing it outside of his suit. Oftentimes, those Power Ranger fights, if you go back to them, they didn't age as well outside of the morph stuff. And I know this is the difference between them using the footage that they filmed and them using the original Japanese stuff. But still, I think if they had given Zack some of his own singular fights as when he was morphed, doing dance food or hip hop keto or whatever, it would have looked a lot cooler. Is Zack Taylor, the Black Ranger, original Black Ranger, the first Black Power Ranger, is his legacy unfairly ranked when it comes to the entire legacy of Power Rangers? As I've thought about this video and I've been trying to make this video, I feel like I've actually been unfair to him. Maybe his legacy should be higher. Maybe he should be looked at a little bit differently. He was the original Black Ranger. He gave a lot of kids the mentality to be like, hey, I can fight. I can do this. I can do that. I can be a Power Ranger. While my ranking of Zack hasn't changed, I do feel like he deserves more credit. And I do feel like a lot of people have looked at him unfairly. Again, to me, he's not really in the top three. He might not even be in the top five. But he could be one of the great Power Rangers. His legacy could be looked at a lot differently and looked at better. So, where do you rank Zack Taylor, the first Black Ranger, the Black Ranger, when it comes to the pantheon of Power Rangers?